message here is that there is a very clear connection between new technology, technological revolutions, and income per head for the nation. So there seems to be a positive relationship between the two of them. But there's also divergence. When we're looking at the productivity and real median family income growth between 1947 and 2011. We look at the productivity here, and we look at the real median family income, we see that actually they have started to grow apart since roughly around 1975, 1979. So between the end of World War II and the mid-1970s, U.S. households fully benefit from the steadily increase of productivity. There was a strong position of the labor unions, and basically every rise in productivity was translated in higher incomes. However, while productivity increases have continued, passed over the last 4 decades, median household income has been relatively stagnant, and labor share of income has declined. This suggests that of late the benefits of invention have not been evenly distributed in the US.
Yeah, of course. Why?
Why? Well, if we have to believe Solow, then the productivity function of Solow says that productivity, the production, can be measured as the output of labor input and capital input. So that means that if labor rewards, the labor component that has not increased, then the reward for capital must have increased, right? But there's another element in there, and we're going to look at the video in a bit, that also tells another story. Basically, the rewards for the increase in productivity have not gone to the labor component, hardly gone to the labor component, but have all flown towards the people who have capital, the investor. And a labor share of income in the non-farm business, so in the secondary and tertiary sector, we see that the labor share in income is also decreasing. So this basically tells the same story. We see that this is on the decline.
What means labor share of income?
So there is less of the total income. So we have income as for example interest on loans, and wages, and profits from speculations. So labor is only one component of income, and we see that of the total income, wages have actually decreased.
It means middle class people income no increase because
Right.
reason is labor share is reducing. It means rich people will get more money.
Right. That's exactly what it means. So there is a few people who got a lot richer, and the average person didn't get richer. Now, again, going back to what we discussed before, there are things that are not included in our GDP that we cannot see here. We cannot see the effects of environmental pollution. We cannot see the effects of the information technology and the access that people have, and the value that they get from their computers today relative to what they got 10, 15 years ago. But looking at GDP, there is a problem, and workers have not been included in the economic growth. One can see an unprecedented and dramatic upturn in the global standard of living that was initially catalyzed by the first industrial revolution, greatly magnified by the second industrial revolution, and further heightened in the recent age of information technology. So, with IoT, the Internet of Things, the artificial intelligence, biotech, etc., we must be heading for a new period of raising productivity, economic growth, and prosperity, right? Right?
Right.
That's the question. what is actually happening. Looking at the American output per hour of work is growing more slowly than it has since the early 80s. Actually, with all the new technology, we would expect that productivity is growing, but productivity is actually is declining. The productivity growth is declining. How come? Why is that? What's happening here?
Why?
Yeah, that I'm building it up.
Is it productivity?
Yeah. Productivity. One word of warning. It's not very easy to measure. Okay, how productive is a worker who is working for Facebook, for example? How to measure that? The services industry, the component is getting bigger. So how productive is somebody who's working for Facebook?
Why?
Productivity is declining.
This one is based upon labor workers' productivity.
Right. This is American. This is American.
And manufacturing and service sectors.
Right. So this is this excludes the farming, for example. But in spite of new technology, the output per worker is decreasing. What is happening here? What gives? From 2011 to 2015, the government's labor productivity measure shows only 0.4% annual growth in output per hour of work. That's the lowest for a 5-year span since the 1977 to 1982 period, and far below the 2.3% average since the 1950s. So, labor productivity, there is a problem. There is something strange going on. That even though we have technological progress, we see a decrease in labor productivity.
It's the same one?
It's basically, it tells the same story.
Why this shows no productivity growth, no change?
Because actually the labor productivity growth is slowing down, and it's expected to stay low for another 20 years.
Why slowing down?
Well, okay, shall we have a look at the video?
Yeah. Just one time.
Okay, I will put it to. Okay. Well, maybe he needs to go drinking.
No, he fly from Myanmar to Bangladesh today.
Ah, okay.
His flight at 5:30. So maybe as soon as he finished meeting, he join with us. And she needs to leave at 5.
Right. Okay. All right. So about productivity from 2011 to 2015, the government's labor productivity measure shows only a 0.4% annual growth in output per hour of work. So that's the lowest of 5-year span since 1977 to 1982, when it was also very low. Far below the 2.3% average since the 1950s. If this kind of productivity growth persists indefinitely, our grandchildren would be no richer than us. Will we? Well, no. No? Why no? Well, unless what?
By the way, I have